Hi everyone, good evening, good morning, wherever you are around the world. This is Cyber Power of Tigray Media. Today I have my good buddies, homies, however you want to call them, Aforki, the real fighter, and then we got Imnahara as usual. But Aforki, for anybody that claims that they don't know him, he must be the most delusional person out there, because Aforki has been out there fighting from day one. When Tigray was under attack, whether you like him or you hate him, you know what? He never budged. I've been at his place multiple times. I traveled with him. I protested with him. And you know what? He and I also gone above and beyond, traveled all the way to Sudan and visited our people that have faced atrocity of the Amhara genocide, the Amhara who committed genocide on the people of Tigray. So if you want to talk about how much he has done, not to brag about him, but he's been at it from day one. And sometimes some people will say, well, he's too feisty. He's questioned the leadership in the past, what Tigray has received from the leadership in the past. And yes, I went through and I had many discussions with Aforki. So tonight, we're going to have some serious discussion that's going to go on for a little while in English. It is Cyber Power, Tigray Genocide, Hard Talk. Then we're going to end the segment. We're going to come back in, and we're going to continue the discussion in Tigrinya. But we're going to separate the English version. Once we end that program, we're going to switch it into Tigrinya. To do so, we're going to end the broadcast. We will give you heads up when we do that, and then we're going to come right back. But today, there's going to be some interruption and some hard talk, because some of the things that we're going to talk about, you're not going to like it. And you know what? I don't care. As long as Tigray is under attack, we're going to continue to fight for our people in Tigray. That's why I say I don't care. I care more about my people than some of you feelings out there that when I call you Hegdef Shabia, Pot Alabash, that's graduated from Koda Alabash. So they graduated from like leather cows and leather goats to clothing. So for those of you who are wondering the meaning of Fot Alabash, it's basically saying those within the Amhara elite, those within the Amhara who actually committed atrocity in Tigray in collaboration with the Eritreans, they're the ones that we call them Fot Alabash. No one in the 21st century should be committing genocide, including the Eritrean, the Ethiopian dictators, and get away with it. And the failure by the United Nations, by the US, by the world community is no exception or no excuses. For those of you who follow Military and Foreign Affairs Network, he had two videos he released today. The United Nations leaked the video, if you guys listen to it. Then there was a meeting within the United Nations today. What China said to cover Ethiopia, and what actually India, I was just appalled reading this Indian diplomat reading, saying the war has expelled into Tigray. That shows you how much they pay attention about what's happening in the region. So as Tigrayans have stated from day one, our only way out of this is to continue to expose what's happening in Tigray and to continue to support our people. And the fight depends on us, Tagaro, internationally, to defend our people who are being ethnically profiled and ethnically executed based on being Tagaro. With that, Aforke, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
So I don't have to prolong this. I don't have to lecture you about what's happening in Tigray.
Correct.
The failure of the world community, it's clear to us that Tigray does not have anyone coming to assist and protect civilians in Tigray. As a Tigrayan American yourself, what's your position and how you feel about it?
Well, like every Tigray, around the world, most of our feelings or most of our thoughts are pretty much they're very clear and out there and on record. As you know yourself and some other fellow Tagaro that live in the United States, we've been protesting pretty much since the war started, anytime after November 4th or so. And we've been, we went around pretty much the whole country of the United States. Um, Many countless states, we have engaged many politicians, whether Republicans or Democrats or other institutions or people that have influence on what's going on back home in Tigray. And so at this moment, I don't know if it is that they don't know or they're not aware, the United Nations or the United States government, they know what's going on. They have reports. I mean, they've seen footage now that Tigray is actually free. More footage have been coming out of the atrocities that have been committed by the Eritrean forces, the Ethiopian forces, Amhara militia, and other forces that were involved in the invasion of Tigray and the killing and the raping and the starvation that's been going on, that has happened already, and that continues to go on. So, as you said yourself, I'm sorry, me, I'm not a believer of the UN or the US or any Western government to go and save Tigray or the people of Tigray at this moment, because if they really want to do that, they could have done it a long time ago. It's not like all of a sudden they're going to wake up, from their coma or whatever they're in and say, you know what? Oh, we need to take action. No, they've been giving us lip service from the get-go since the Biden administration has been sworn in, which was what, January 20th. They've been saying they're concerned. They're going to look into it. They're going to hold the Abiy government accountable. They're going to hold the Eritrea accountable, and so on and so on. And they actually even detailed saying the Amhara Fano, the Amhara militia has to get out of Tigray, and so on and so on. But none of that happened. The only thing that happened is our forces, TDF, through their hard fight, dedication, and I'm sure they lost fighters, they were the ones to kick everybody out. And that's what's happening. And the only way Tigray is going to be free, or the people of Tigray are going to be free, not only in Tigray, but also in Addis Ababa. There are many Tagaru in Addis Ababa that are being harassed, that are being jailed. Most of their, livelihood is pretty much taken, or they're under watch 24 hours. A lot of them have already left the country because they're scared, they're going to get killed, they're going to get jailed. Those that left are the lucky ones because they had visa or somehow they were able to get out. But there are, I'm sure, close to 1 million Tagaru or ethnicity of Tigray that are still in Addis Ababa and other parts of Ethiopia
But
that don't have
why
that
are
same
the
thing.
Tagaris here in the diaspora not doing enough though? Why is it that why are we seeing the protest is dead now? The activism that we had prior to June 27th was amazing. All of a sudden, it's the other side that's pushing. I guess my thing is you've seen what happened in Sudan. Like when you travel to Sudan, you saw the people that are suffering on the ground. So I guess what happened to the energy that we had, and what happens when you and I and the rest of us watches the disgrace killing of Tagaro and Hamora. This is an example, like many of us have saw like last week. You and I know the amount of video that we have, the amount of videos that we get from the ground, people throw into the Takaza River and floats into the Sudan side. And if we were to show those videos, people will be outraged even further. But just as an example, and I apologize for those of you who saw this video, I want to give you an opportunity before I play it, because I'm going to get back to Imna'are and we're going to have some serious hard discussion here. But I want to show this clip of 1 minute and 48 seconds. And many of videos like this and worse, you know, I get them live from the ground from people that are working on the ground, including some of our people who were on CNN recently. But if I were to share those videos, some of you will get very angry at me for showing you the truth, what's happening to our people. So we're not talking, we're not asking whether or not this is real. It's happening, it's for real. This is people, our people, Tigrayans. So imagine, this is the kind of atrocity. This was floating on Facebook for the past several days, and this is how they're killing an innocent Tigrayan civilians in Tigray. And I want to give credit as a media to the person who recorded this, to the person who shared this with us. So this is the kind of things as a media outlet, sometimes you get frustrated for us showing you video and you go on YouTube and then trying to get us shut us down by claiming that we're not giving you credit. But let me tell you something. This is painful to watch. And we have videos that are like this, videos that shows Amhara militia, Eritrean troops dismantling civilians in Tigray, dismantling live people, and slowly but surely torture and killing them. This is the kind of killing that we're talking about that happens on a regular basis in Tigray. So, Imna'are, when you see a fellow Tigrayans tortured in this manner, you were a fighter yourself. As a former fighter yourself, if you were back on the battlefield today, would you allow this kind of atrocity, even the very people that you hate, and you will fight on the battlefield? But I'm not even talking about soldiers, civilians. If a fellow soldier, fellow Tigrayans is doing something like this, would you allow it to happen like this?
Anyway, I don't know where to start. I don't know when it was. Just every time I see this video, not only this video, there are a lot of them which are not on air, which has been kept because most of our medias are very responsible, and they don't want our people to be angry and be in action and make a chaos, which would be a counterproductive for our struggle. After saying that, I want to say to the world, or to the people who might watch or who might follow the war in Tigray, the genocidal war in Tigray, which is perpetrated by Ethiopian government and the Eritrean despotic government and the Amhara militia. What you have seen is a piece of it. There are a lot of videos, horrible. Leave alone, you will do it on a civilian, even if you capture a soldier, and if you are a man enough, somebody who is under your control, you don't just treat him the way they did it. This is the ultimate. Well, we keep on forgetting, but they have already said it. If you remember Hika Havisto of Finland have said it. The leaders of Ethiopia have said word by word, we will bring down Tigray 100 years back. They were saying it. These genociders, they are not only hateful, they are evil. Evil people. Now, after saying this, I'll take you back to what we have started about the United Nations and the whole world. We are addressing our problem not because we expect the United Nations, the United States, or the Western world will do our job. That's not the case. We are addressing all the problems, the issues, because we want the world to understand what kind of problem we are in. And everything we do, we want the world to understand we have a cause, we have a reason. On the other side, the despotic government of Ethiopia and Eritrea are calling us, we Tagaru, terrorists, including TPLF. TPLF is not a terrorist. Tagaru is not terrorist. We didn't start this war. We didn't do any damage to that rotten nation Ethiopia. We didn't do anything. Actually, it's the opposite. Tagaru, we have been the core part of that rotten state in building it, in bringing it back to its foot. We have struggled against foreign aggressors for a long time. We have the longest history on resistance, resisting any occupiers. We have been fighting against internal problems. The kings and queens of Haile Selassie, Menelik, this all the rotten systems. We have been fighting against the Turk, the military dictator, and we were trying to bring back or to make that country look better. But the name given to us is totally the opposite, and it is a lie. So when we address our problems to the United Nations, we are addressing it because we want to understand, we want them to understand the problem we have, because a lot of people, they don't even have any clue what is going on. You explained it about what the Chinese government, the Indian government, what they say. They don't have any clue. They don't have, and they don't care. So we're trying to address the problem to the United Nations. We started it since February. We've been sending letters. We've been on demonstrations. On the opposite, Antonio Guterres never cared. Somehow the American government, the Irish, the Ireland, some European countries like Norway, Finland, they do understand that they were on our side, which is good. But for example, I live in the United States. Did the United States do enough to us? No. But do I have to give up? No, I will not give up. And I have to say thank you, even the little support they gave us. For example, the Biden administration, we're contacting them. Yes, they listen to us. They are telling us gravely concerned. Okay, at least they understand the problems. But have they done enough? No, they didn't. And the reason for that, we'll come to it later on, because one of our good friends, the military and foreign affairs, he explained it very clearly. Why is the United States not acting in support of the government? Therefore, when we discuss about this issue, we have to think what is better for us. We have to understand it. We're not, yeah, for sure, we're not waiting their support, but we have to be thankful whatever they did to help us. But still, we believe on us, or we did. So Tagaru in the diaspora, Tagaru in the battlefield, Tagaru everywhere, we are fighting back. We are resisting. We are standing, and for sure we are winning, and we have to continue doing that. for those people, some of them, they say, do this and don't do that. As to me, it's not right. It's not right. Every Tigray is responsible. Every Tigray is fighting. Every Tigray is addressing the problem, and we have to continue doing it. So this is the things I can say. And uh, those videos we've been witnessing are painful, and we have to see it. We have to know what kind of enemy we have. We have to understand what they are doing to our people.
Absolutely. So, Afork, I'm going to have you jump in here. I'm going to, because we got a lot of things to cover, but you were very close to that area, obviously, where the atrocity is taking place in Hamara. When you went to Sudan, it's not far off from where you and I have been.
Yes.
And you see this. The reality is, like, you and many of us know, like, as what Imnahara just described, so many atrocities have taken place that we have not publicly showed it. But just based on that clip that you see, you saw Amnahara's pain. And I know it's every Tigrayan's pain, including yours. You want to comment on that? Do you have a reaction on it before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, sure. Like our buddy said, this is only just a bit of what has been seen or shown. There's many video. Imagine what hasn't been recorded. This is what's recorded. Imagine what hasn't been recorded that has happened throughout Tigray. You know what I mean? A lot, I'm sure, has happened. A lot more horrific atrocities that's going to be undescribable, unbelievable, especially to the Western world, that they don't expect. They expect people to play by the Geneva Conventions, by the rules, by war rules. No, we're in a different territory. These people do not care. As my colleague said, the Ethiopian government, they said themselves, we will take Tigray 100 years back. I mean, it's as clear as it gets. If they're saying something like that, obviously, this is nothing. I'm sure they have done, like I said, a lot more horrific things. But the world needs to see this. I mean, I'm sure it's not pleasant to the eye, or to the, it's not a good thing to see. Obviously, you don't want to see people dying or being, going through torture and other things like that. But at the same time, we have to show the world what kind of evil, what kind of cruelty is happening in that part of the country, or in that part of the world. So, no, if we have evidence, especially in video, we must show it. We have to just be stronger, and we have to show it. Maybe that's the only way some people understand what we're dealing with. So when we go protesting, stop saying, stop killing, stop raping, and so on and so on, this is what we mean. Sometimes they don't believe you. They question what we're saying when we go out there. You know that yourself. But if we have clear evidence, such as this video, we must show it to them. We have to show it to them. We shouldn't be afraid, or we shouldn't be holding back to show them how what kind of cruelty is happening at the end of the day.
And for the Eritreans who are getting offended when our people are being, like, massacred, what response do we give them?
Well, I mean, why would they get offended? That I mean, the thing about some of the Eritreans that are supporters of the despotic government that they support is they're in denial. And when you're in denial, you have to do everything in your power to fight back. You don't want the truth to get out. So one way of the truth not getting out is you have to keep staying in denial. If you remember, like when the war first started, their argument was there were no Eritrean troops in Tigray at all.
For 5 months, they say that.
Yeah, for a long time, they said it. Even after we showed them videos, them looting, killing, doing other things, they kept telling us, no, it's Tagaru dressed as Eritrean soldiers. So they don't have a limit into how they would deny, the truth from actually getting out or being told. So an Eritrean or an Ethiopian government supporter, to me, doesn't surprise me in their line of defense, if there's such a thing. So to me, I wouldn't pay attention to them because they're not our target. They're not our goal. I'm not looking to convince an Eritrean or an Ethiopian government supporter because they don't need much convincing. They know what's going on. They read the same thing that we read. They see the same news. They have relatives back home that they can call and get information from. They have many avenues
But
to get
it's
information.
not about convincing them, though. It's the fact that they know the truth on the ground and they continue to argue and BS with us, and yet they get offended when we say Eritreans are stealing and destroying goods and services in Tigray and raping women and young girls in Tigray. They try to find covers for that when their own family members in the diaspora continue to financially support to that regime in Asmara. And then they're out there trying to have coffee with you, trying to have a beer with me and whatever, like I'm just using a hypothetical example, but I know some of the folks that, in Denver, for example, that you and I and others we have spoken with, and that how they've been under denial, like you're saying, but it's not about whether or not they're under denial. The fact that when you tell someone that you are a thief because they're stealing something, when you call someone you are a killer or a rapist, when they're killing someone, raping someone, and they try to defend it, why are Tagaru then trying to scale back on it or trying to say, oh, that's too aggressive or it's not the right time or we should not be talking like that? Because like when I look at my fingers, I know how many fingers I have in each hand. So if I count my fingers and in every protest that I go out, I can't even count 5 Amhara to come and join us. And with the number of Eritreans in the diaspora, the excuses that I hear is like, well, some of them support you guys, the Tigray people, but they don't want to come out because they don't want to be showing their faces. Why? What are they afraid of when our people are dying?
Well, to answer your question, one, they have no guts to stand up for the truth or to stand up for their own government that they support. That's the truth. They are afraid of their own government if they are seen or if they oppose what they actually believe in. They are afraid what's going to happen to them back in their homeland, whether it's in Eritrea or even Addis or Ethiopia. That's the truth, but they're not going to admit to that. So, also at the same time, we cannot be gullible as Tagaru. We have a lot of gullible Tagaru. I mean, the last 27 years, their brain have been washed with that whole Ethiopia mentality. It is what it is. They don't like you. They hate you. This is hate. This whole thing that's happening right now in Tigray is pure hate. So whether you believe in TPLF, whether you oppose TPLF, if you are from Tigray, your bloodline comes from Tigray, they do not care. At the end of the day, you are from Tigray. Okay? So to answer your questions, they don't have the guts to stand up for whatever they believe in themselves. Whatever truth they believe in themselves, they don't have the guts to say, you know what, you're right. Eritrean troops are stealing, Eritrean troops are raping, Amhara troops are raping, Amhara troops are stealing, and so on and so on. They would never have the guts to say that. Because for the simple fact, they want to eradicate you and your kind. That's my honest answer.
Yeah, well, talking about the Eritreans, to begin with, the name Eritrea by itself is a slave name. They don't have history, they don't have dignity, they don't even fought to get an independence for their country. I don't even think they believe on the country they have. It's just totally deceptive and fake. Now, all their moves is they want to make sure Tigray is down to look a better Eritrea, which is so evil and backwards. If we come to the atrocities which has happened to themselves in the last maybe 34 years after Eritrea became independent, is unimaginable. None of the Eritreans, not for the sake of Tagaru, not for the sake of other people in the world. None of them, they fought back. Even they didn't try to remove the despotic government they have. It has been there, it has supported everything. Okay? Now, we made a mistake with Tigray. These people, they could not help themselves, and we think they are our backbone. For me, most of them, they are a liability. I don't need. Trust me, we have to say it straightforward. We don't need them. I sent you one clip, Mike, if you have seen it. It's kind of a joke, but they were saying they have raised money, support to Tigray. The same narration has been told by EPLF after the overthrow of DER. They were saying we put TPLF or Tigray into Ethiopian power, and they were saying, they were accusing us, we bite them back because of the Badima war. That was one of the reasons they started working against Tigray interest, and then they came to Tigray because we fought with them as part of Ethiopia in Badima, which is the war created by their leader. Because we fought against them, they came back when Abiy became into power. They came back and killed our people. Okay, the Ethiopian side, they have all kind of stories. It doesn't matter. Whatever happened by TPLF, genocide is not excusable. You cannot make an excuse on genocide. You committed genocide. Don't make it a lesser crime. Atrocities, ethnic cleansing, anything that. They committed genocide, and it's not justified. So we fight against Eritrea, yes, because he came and tried to occupy our territory. We beat him, yes, we beat him. With a professional army. We didn't burn the village. We didn't kill civilians. For the mistake they made, they are trying to accuse Tigray. The same is true with Ethiopia. We fought against them. Yes, we beat them down. Why? Because he was a dictator. He was burning our village. He was killing us. We overthrew DER. The DER criminals, they started from the United States. They organized the Ethiopian people. They changed the system. Okay, that's fine. It can be changed from Ethiopian politics. But what they did in Tigray is totally hateful.
But so we understand that. We agree. Yeah. But let me interject though. What Afwerki say, I agree to an extent. They don't have guts, but it's not they don't have guts, but they are actually cheering behind closed doors because they're satisfied when they see Tigrayans suffer. Because Afwerki say, whether you like it or not, whether you love TPLF or hate TPLF, based on your Tigrayan ethnicity, they hate you, period. Eritreans, you know Eritreans never focus on Eritrea. They always want to analyze
that's what exactly
about Tigray and about Ethiopia. So let me just say this. Why in the world would Eritrean media, Eritrean analysts, Eritrean individuals have so much evaluation that they want to talk about Tigray and about Ethiopia rather than talking their own problem in their own country in Eritrea? That's
what I'm saying. Two problems. Number one, they want forget the problem they have, and they want to keep on talking about Tigray, Ethiopia.
I don't think they want to forget their problem though.
Hold on. They want to look as if they are in a good shape. Okay, that's a pretension. The other problem is we Tigray have a problem. We keep on inviting these people. Why do you need them? Why is the Eritrean analyst in Tigray appears? Why?
Because they never left Ethiopia and their heart. Physically, they want to remove themselves from Ethiopia, but they have too much love for Ethiopia and Tigray.
No.
Michael,
why are we inviting them? Why are we inviting them?
That is one part. The other part is we Tigray, even we Tigray, we keep on inviting these people to our topic. This is our mistake. We have to correct it. Example, last time I sent you one video. The guy who they call him Sultana or something. He was talking about the rate 300,000. I don't care. I didn't ask you. I don't need your money. Period. I don't need your presence in my politics. Period. Get out of our way. Your government, your people, they are killing our people. You are responsible. You have to remove the government you have. Actually, you're playing a double game. You support your government in one hand, and you pretend as if you love Tagaro. And we Tagaro, we pull ourselves and we accept them as if they are logically correct. These people, very, very dangerous. We don't need them. We have to make it clear. This is my son. This one. So we have two problems. One problem is on the other side. The other problem is our Tagaro. We Tagaro. We keep on inviting these stupid people. Sorry to say, but they are stupid. They are not useful. They cannot help themselves. They cannot remove Isaac Saporki. They cannot remove Tigray. They talk day and night about Tigray. They talk day and night about Tigray. We Tagaro, we are enough to deal with our problem. Actually, they are a stumbling block. Every time the Eritreans come talk about Tigray, they are a stumbling block. We don't need you. Clear. This is my son. Go ahead.
So, Afork, I'm going to let you respond to this, but there's a clip that he was, that Imnada is talking about. This guy, he's got a show, Tafatawi talk show is what he has a title. If you Tafatawi, meaning that you're supposed to be loved and respected person, this is one of the most disgusting person that I've ever seen. When I saw the clip that you sent me this morning, I listened to it. Talk about disgusting. This is a nasty Eritrean origin living in the diaspora and talking. Anyway, I'll let you guys do the analysis, but I want to just say this is the clip that you share with me.
تجار حاجز وصل أبز كذا تريزل لعلي $300,000 إذا زارف زلوا إزي بدك أكل بزاي تريز وصل
هذا قدر عليه
Fucking money. That's what I want to say. Let him take it.
So this is so what I like to do is like we're just going to talk about the point that he made about the $300,000, but we're going to talk about this in the Tigrinya version later because I want us to save time. But to do that, I've already I understand you want to totally just remove ourselves from these kind of coward Eritreans. And
of course, yeah.
I get that.
Useless. Actually, they are useless. They cannot change the problem they have. They cannot fight Isaias Aborki.
Right. But see, this is my problem. We have Tagaru. I have Tigrayans outside this show actually reaching out to me and saying, can you be a little soft when it comes to the Eritreans and stop calling them Sha'biya? Stop calling them Leba.
Why you gotta be soft?
What's that?
Don't be soft.
Why do you have to be soft?
No, but I'm just saying it. But no, hear me out though. So when those Tagaru, and I have a Tigrayans telling me when we had the war last time, we kicked out Eritreans from Ethiopia. So that's why Eritreans are angry. This is from Tagaru. Multiple Tagarus not arguing, but explaining to me why Eritreans are upset. So when you giving them a justification for their bullshit, excuse my strong language in here, but it is okay. So Tagaru was kicked out of Asmara and throughout Eritrea during that war, and we gave them a favor. So when they kicked out our people, we gave them right back. We just say, okay, you kicking our people, we're gonna kick your people and give it to you. What didn't happen then is that no Tigrayans or Ethiopian at that time, the failed state of Ethiopia today, the former Ethiopia, at the time when it was called Ethiopia, did not go after any Eritrean woman, did not rape young girls in Eritrea, did not go and beheaded village after village and burn down Eritrea because we had every opportunity. We were 60 kilometers from Asmara. That's less than 50 miles from Asmara. Had it not been Meles Zenawi, Prime Minister Meles Zenawi, saying let's not enter Asmara at that time. That's right. So when that's happening, and you have this, whether you call them Hegdef, whatever you want to call them, okay, they come out and talk like this. And somehow, when they give like a few $1,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 raise, whatever, and they want to utilize that excuse to say, oh, they're good people. If you're good people, don't say you're going to do A, B, C, but no, it doesn't work like that. When you kill my people, shove your money on your rear end and just focus on your own place.
Thank you. That's it.
Well, so to answer your question, me personally, do I know some Eritreans that are, that are on our side or that help out, or do I know some Ethiopians that are on our side that help out? Of course, I know some. Of course, I do. But even if they do raise money, even if they fight with us in the name of our cause, that doesn't justify them, bashing us or name calling us or anything in that nature. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean you have to go soft on Eritreans that support TDF or the Ethiopians that support the Ethiopian government. You know what I mean? We're not going to put a blanket cover on every Eritrean to say they're all bad. No, there are some good Eritreans.
Yeah.
Yes, there are some good Ethiopians as well. But our cause, our fight is we want to see them more. We want them to actually be more boisterous. We want them to come out more and actually denounce what's happening in Tigray or throughout Ethiopia. But
they're happy to see what's happening, though. They can't.
But you're not going to see too many of them. You will not see too many of them.
Here is the point, though, Aporti. Okay, somebody can do a good thing. For example, I can be a good Samaritan and I can help somebody. Yeah. But I'm not going to show off, oh, I did this and that, this, that. No. You do it because you believe on it, right?
Exactly.
Now, this guy, so-called Tapatawi, whatever, I didn't ask him to begin with. If he did it for his own cause. He shouldn't come every now and then and talk about what they did for helping Tagaru. We're not winning because the Fatawi or somebody has helped us. We Tagaru, we won all against all odds because we fight back, because we are honest, because we have balls, because we have a cause. The Fatawi is not going to bring freedom for me. He cannot get his own freedom in his own country. No, he don't have any morality to talk about Tagaru, okay? He has to deal about his problem first. He has to solve his problem first.
They can't.
Actually, he should ask me to help him because I'm better than them. We are better than them, all right? So all this bashing, all nonsense, it's just like a behavior. Hitler or Shabiya, they did it on the armed struggle, okay? They were buried in Sahel. Hawat TPLF went all the way to Sahel. They took them out of Sahel and put them in power in Eritrea. The independence of Eritrea happened because of TPLF, not because of Shabiya. This is the truth. But we never said that. We never said that. Now they come.
Why aren't we exposing the truth?
We have to say it. We have to say it actually. Yeah, our elder, they were saying, no, we shouldn't do it like tit for tat. Let's forget. Most of the time, it costs us. When we are like, it's okay. We take it for granted, and then it costs us. All in our history. Hata Yohannes. So help we can. Later on, Kadama Wayane. Second Wayane. Even now, we don't talk about ourselves. We Tagaru, we're doing it. We make history. And a lot of people, they want to take our history. Tafatawi, that's what he's doing. Okay? So, my point is, if you don't mean it, don't come to Tagaru. We don't.
I don't mean to cut you off, but it's not only Tafatawi or some no-name pros. Yesterday, I was watching TMH. Okay? And they brought some Eritrean analyst, some guy that lives in Europe. Okay? And they bring a lot of these Facebook so-called activists from Facebook to TMH. Why me as a Tigray? Why do I need to hear a perspective from an Eritrean person on what's going on from back home?
That's the point.
What value am I going to add?
Because we continue to have a brainwashed Tagaru who believes that bringing like 5 or 10, like, Eritreans that are bullshitting our people is going to make us stronger Tagaru, and we're going to have allies to fight with us, when the reality is they will not do it.
Yes, I mean, we already know they're not going to do it. Again, what I'm asking you guys is, why are we so silent about this?
We're not anymore. That's why we bring the
How do we
topic.
fight that? No, how do we make it stop? Because it seems like it happens all the time. I say it all the time.
Yeah.
To me, all I can do is just shake my head, because I'm just like, I'm not learning anything. I will never learn anything from an Eritrean person to tell me about what's going on in Tigray, or how Tigray is going to be Nasa or free.
Well,
You understand what I'm saying?
You're not gonna learn nothing.
Actually, you if you hang around enough with them, not the good ones you mentioned, but the ones that are fake when they see you and real when they're behind closed doors, they can teach you how to be a good thief, a rapist, and a killer.
That's it. Or how to be a slave of the colony.
Yeah, but I'm not even. I don't want to focus too much on them, to be honest with you,
Okay.
because I feel like I'm wasting my time. But what I'm saying is,
But
just-
Aforki,
Yeah.
we have to address it because it's a problem. Aforki,
No,
we're
no,
not
no.
wasting our time.
but for us to address it, no, for us to address the problem is, I'm saying is, we have institutions, okay, or organizations. Okay, I don't want to name names. It's not worth it. Why do they keep bringing them? Is my question. Why do they keep bringing them till today?
Because
As
they're
late as
brainwashed
yesterday.
Tagaru. That's what I say earlier. They're brainwashed Tagaru.
Brainwash
And they continue to brainwash other
Okay,
Tagaru
no, but these
who
are
are not necessarily
no, no, but
politicians.
these are not individuals. These are institutions. Okay, these are institutions that are bringing somebody because they happen to be an Eritrean, and we have to hear their side. Why do I need to hear their side?
Again, the institution you're describing is run by who? By Tagaru.
Yes.
To bring Eritreans.
So we're asking,
So
we're
what
asking.
we're saying here is psychologically, Ahorki, when you look at it, the people that we put in the top, you know how many times I've said to Tagaru, stop saying ambassadors. Tigray is not a nation. Tigray does not have ambassadors. We, Tigrayan Americans and Tigrayans all over the world, are the ambassadors of Tigray right now until Tigray is a nation. You know how many people have argued with me saying like, oh, if somebody was an ambassador before, you can still call them an ambassador. Well, they were former ambassadors, but they're not an ambassador today for Tigray. So it's the same BS, the same analogy that, Tagaru, certain Tagaru, they'll put a title, they'll run like a media or...
Well, that's a slave mentality. That's a slave mentality.
Well, but we're allowing it, like what you say. Why are we, why aren't we learning from it? And it's the same thing when, so like I went to college, got a degree. So what? So I'm going to have a title, like, so you can congratulate me. That's that's slave mentality you're talking about. Our issue with Tagaro also is that, the moment they get a degree, they want to affiliate it next to their name with that, because that's the African mentality. That's, to me, like if you educated, if you bright, brilliant person, hey, good job. You did it. All right. Awesome. Now stand and fight for your people. I don't care your title. I don't care, how many PhDs, how many master's degrees that you earn. What I care about the most right now is the people of Tigray have been under attack for 11 months by the Eritreans, by the Amhara militia, Amhara Fana, by the rest of the Ethiopians.
That's it.
And the Somalians and the United Arab Emirates. And to come back to what Ibn Adra said earlier, I do appreciate the little effort that America and other countries genuinely have made in trying to make a difference. Are they doing enough? Absolutely not. Which is going to bring me to, before we close this segment, to my favorite guy, an American, the U.S. Military and Foreign Affairs Network. For those of you who follow it, it's an amazing show. He typically talks a lot less than we do, but hey, he breaks it down, the truth. So my favorite guy that I like to follow, and what he says, he lays it out, the fact. And he talks about Eritrean atrocities in Tigray. So listen, those of you who follow him, you know who I'm talking about.
that could be used against Eritrea, Ethiopia, over the ongoing crisis inside of the Tigray region, and more specifically,
This is the military and foreign
why
affairs
are
network.
we not seeing more efforts by the West, by the United States, attempting to end the travesty that is occurring inside of the Tigray region? Well, what I can tell you, the biggest issue right now for the United States is the United States. And I don't know how many viewers are inside of the United States, and of those viewers, how many are educated in terms of the ongoing political situation inside of the United States. But I can tell you right now, the United States has never been more divided politically.
So he's talking about the divisiveness in the U.S., obviously, but the point is the failure of America when it comes to Tigray. You know, yes, we heard like the concern. Yes, they pressure and push the United Arab Emirates to pull its drones out of Eritrea, but really, I mean, is that all the atrocity in Tigray? That's the solution? If really US, Europe wants to fix the issue, it wouldn't take a lot of effort to get rid of Eritrean troops out of Tigray. It wouldn't take a lot of effort for Isaias Afwerki to be taken out. But the US in itself is not genuinely wanting to stand with, you know, the right side of history. America doesn't really see itself siding with civilians in Tigray, but it doesn't want to be the country later to say, you never did anything, you never say anything, because they want to be able to say, well, we've been telling the world that it was very, very bad situation. So they're scoring points right now for political purposes in the future. When the reality comes out, when we know that hundreds of thousands of our people have died, then they will say, well, see, we tried it. This is what we say. This is what we tried, but the world did not stand with us. But when it comes to Yugoslavia, it didn't take that long for them to take action. So when it comes to Black people, what's happening? When it comes to Europe, what's happening? Double standard?
Yeah, on this one, I want to take one shot about what's going on in the, and you know, somehow the military and foreign affairs analyst, he always put things with reason and with perspective, and most of the time is correct. We have to understand the problem, the political problem, the divisive political problem in the United States. It's too partisan. America on left and right on every little issues get polarized. So the current administration, I just want to thank them. I just want to thank President Joe Biden and his administration, Senator Anthony Blinken, well, the army, and I forgot his name. Those guys, I really have to appreciate them because they have gone a little more extra miles. But the problem we have to understand is, for example, if we take the stand of the Oklahoma Senator Jim Inhofe, who was best buddy friend of Abiy Ahmed. And he put himself later on, but he was a friend of Abiy Ahmed, who was supporting him. There are people who sympathize, who are on the side of the despotic, genocidal government of Ethiopia and even Eritrea. Therefore, the current government of the United States, somehow, they could have done whatever they want, siding by truth. When I say whatever they want, what I mean is they have a good reason to go for action. But we, Tagaru, we have to understand they have a problem too. This is the point the analyst tried to present. The other point he tried to present is the issue with China. China have been doing a lot of progress on the world politics, so they have to catch up with China. They have to catch up with Russia, and they have a lot of problems in the Middle East, in Iraq, Iran, etc. Therefore, our case became a case recently, and the Ethiopian government was deceptive enough. They have tried to deceive the American government for a long time. Now they know whole truth.
Which Ethiopian government? I don't think there's a government called Ethiopian government.
No, I mean the former Ethiopian government. Thank you for correcting me. The dictator or the genocider. Therefore, now they have understood it. Still, they can take an action. Now, you have raised one question, Mike. Why are we Tagaru very, very cold now? Why are we not doing enough? You remember we're having a lot of protests. You remember we were writing a lot of letters. You remember we were calling every senator and representative in the United States. Where are the Tagars in Canada? Where are the Tagars in Germany? Where are the Tagars in England? What are you doing? If we don't do enough, we shouldn't expect anything. Therefore, last year, February, March, April, you remember we met in DC?
Yes.
What kind of anger did we have? What kind of energy did we have? Where did it go? Because
that's the thing. That's the concern that we have said before, is that like coronavirus, at the beginning people were not taking it serious, and then they took it very serious, and then they just start normalizing it somehow that the virus is not killing people. So with the genocide in Tigray, that's what we have been saying throughout the protest. And some folks were complaining that we were doing too many protests, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Our people are being massacred on a regular basis. So I want to give you a chance to jump in. By the way, speaking of protests, we will have a protest in Los Angeles, California on October 13th. That will be at the Los Angeles airport, or LAX, to show the Turkish government. This will be against the Turkish airline. So for those of you in the West Coast, if you're in LA, it's scheduled at 2 p.m. West Coast time or Pacific time. The very next day, on October 14, I believe your community in Denver is thinking about having one. And on October 22nd and 23rd, we're trying to put together one in Portland, Oregon. So that will be Friday and Saturday, October 22nd and October 23rd. Day one, we're hoping to do like a foot protest. And then day two, we're going to try to do a caravan protest. So there you have it. And then the big one, we have the major one. That's going to be a national protest on November 4th through November 7th. That will be a 4-day protest. So in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we've got about 4 protests scheduled. So we're trying to shift it and bring it right back. So if you guys haven't heard that, October 13th, Los Angeles, California at LAX. October 14th in Denver, Colorado. October 22nd and 23rd, Portland, Oregon. Hey, that's my hometown. So if you guys, hopefully, invite me ahead of time. You guys heard it from me here. And then the big one in DC. Aforki.
Well, to answer your question on why about the protesting, or if the anger is still there, yes, of course, the anger will never go away until Tigray is free, and all the people that are being subjugated to all the atrocities are free, and they can actually, live a normal life, an everyday normal life. But I feel like when it comes to protesting, yes, we did a lot of protests. That was great. But I feel like it has to be more targeted. Meaning, yes, we can go out there protesting on Constitution Avenue, in front of the State Department, in front of the White House, and so on and so on. But at the same time, I don't think it's targeted. And we need to know who our target is. What what message are we trying to send? What senator are we trying to reach? What Congress or representative are we actually trying to convey the message to? That way they can take some kind of action. And a lot of Tigray maybe took a back seat when Magala got free, and most of Tigray got free sometime in late June. Yeah, we held back a little bit because you said, you know what? At least most of Tigray is now free. So my idea, or if I was to construct anything, I would say, yes, let's do protesting. That's fine. But it has to be more targeted. It cannot just be like, yes, call a protest in front of the State Department, and we scream, we yell, somebody comes here, they give us a letter, we go home, nothing changes.
Well, I disagree with you actually on that. So let me interject there. So I think that we actually made a major impact by continuously going to the State Department, and the State Department, like Secretary Blinken, has been pushing very hard, and I think that is part of the reason why the drones were kicked out of ASAP, and the fact that the U.S. Linda Thomas Greenfield has been pushing for us so much. So I don't want to have the understanding that we're not making impact. What I'm saying, I think, with all due respect to your point, is that we have to continue to get out the message, because the more we get the message out to Americans, the more America is going to be. So what we're doing for November, by the way, is that we're having like a regular. We just started having a regular meetings, Zoom meetings. That the discussion that we're having is, what could we do from November 4th to November 7th when we go to Washington, D.C., that we just come with a demand to the United States government, to our government. At the end of the day, we have family in Tigray that are being massacred, and we are Americans. As Americans, we're not going to be radical, but we're going to be a responsible citizen, come with a demand, whether it's like blocking in front of the White House, the Capitol Hill, the State Department, whatever it is, peaceful civil disobedience, just like MLK did it. And I think we we can bring a clear message that demands what I don't want to line up with some of our elderly Tagaru, who often, when they see police officer, they just feel terrified and they have to say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. We have a constitutional right under our First Amendment. So if we have to completely shut down a street and block traffic, so what? Be it.
Yes, that's true.
If we get arrested for civil disobedience, blocking traffic, it's a misdemeanor crime. It is not a felony. It does not have a major impact. So yes, we want a civil disobedience, peaceful protest at all times. But sometimes we have to think a little harder. We have to take it a little to the next level. So I think, yes, I agree with you that we have to have an agenda. We have to be very clear what our targets are. We have 99 of the 100 senators supporting Resolution 97, agreeing that the atrocity in Tigray needs to end. One senator spoke against the atrocity in Tigray. He supported genocide. One senator, that's Jim Inhofe. And we went right to his hometown, Oklahoma City. We marched in front of his office, and guess what? He hasn't spoken about it.
By the way, regarding Jim Inhofe, there were Tagaru who told me not to do or not to react to whatever stand he had. And I said,
no, I'm doing Karen Bass right now.
I said, I'm going to do it.
California.
And then actually, thank you for her. He corrected himself. When he came back from Addis Ababa, he said, I will reconsider my stand about Ethiopia and Abiy Ahmed. That's what he said. And we were successful, and we were right. So, taking a point about what Aforki said, I agree with him. It has to be well targeted. For example, a lot of our protests, we address a lot of issues. Good. It was the situation a year ago or 8 months ago. I expect that to have such type of demonstration or rallies. Now, the situation is somehow changed. Therefore, our topics or our protest, it has to be well crafted and targeted. Number one, what we are trying to address is genocide has been committed by Ethiopian government and Eritreans. No joke about it. the Americans or whoever in the world has to name the problem we faced by its correct name. It is a genocide. What evidence does America need? What evidence does President Joe Biden need to call it a genocide? United Nations, what evidence do they need? Why is Antonio Guterres still wanted?
That's not even the question anymore. They have the evidence, all the evidence, like we said earlier.
Exactly. So what is holding them? Therefore, we have to challenge them,
and they don't care.
Yeah,
that's why
So,
I'm
Mike,
saying we have to take it to the next notch.
So, Mike, to go back to your the whole talking about protesting and why it has slowed down. To make my point again, it has to be more targeted. You told me 99 senators agree, right? If they agree, why hasn't an action been taking place already?
Well, they agree to.
You understand what I'm saying? So for us, if I'm gonna go protesting, if I'm gonna keep going protesting, there has to be a reason. There has to be a target. There has to be an actionable item. I cannot keep going to protesting, screaming, yelling, but nothing happens. Currently, that's what's happening right now. In DC, as you know, in DC, they protest pretty much daily. Right. For the State Department or the Turkish Embassy, White House, you name it. Every day or sometime during the week, there's some kind of protest going on. But guess what? We're still getting lip service. We're not getting an action. They keep saying, yes, we hear you, we know what's going on, but nothing's happening.
I don't disagree with that. I understand your feelings, but you cannot just like discourage people saying like because nothing has done.
I'm not discouraging I'm not discouraging anybody. All I'm saying is I'm not discouraging anybody from protesting.
Well, that is.
All I'm saying is we need to go back to the drawing board.
The result has not shown us to.
No. You're not understanding what I'm saying then.
What's that?
No. All I'm saying is we need to go back to the drawing board and we need to strategize better.
I agree. I'm with you on that.
That's what I am saying.
I'm with you on that. But we cannot say, because I think I heard you saying that we have gone out and protested, and therefore we have not seen result. I get it, not to the extent that we want. We want action now. We know the American politic. We know the word politic, the dirty politic, that if this was happening in Europe, action would have been taken immediately. Sadly, they're not thinking about the people of Tigray. So with that, I'm going to give you a quick closing summary, Afwerki, and then I want us to close the English broadcasting. For those of you who are following us, listening to us, please share Cyber Power of Tigray. Obviously, we try and do the best we can to bring you English program, and then we'll jump into Tigrinya later. But the important thing is we're hoping that we're trying to evaluate what's happening. We're trying to share a raw discussion that sometimes people don't feel comfortable, and we put them in a position where they don't want to be. But hey, if your brother out there is raping civilians in Tigray, and we call the reality on the ground, and that makes you feel uncomfortable, I think you're a coward as well. So this is not a politic. When genocide is taking place, rape is used as a weapon, and starvation is used as a weapon. I have no room for me to sympathize with you, who you feel sorry, you feel bad for calling you who you are. So if you cheer for the Eritrean army, if you cheer for the Ethiopian army, if you cheer for the Amhara militia, you are no less than those who are committing the crime on the ground. Afwerki, go ahead.
I mean, no, like you said, if we're closing it out, as you said, I don't think any sane human being that has a brain or a heart would justify the killing of kids and innocent civilians and deliberately starving them. So I don't know what point. I mean, you're not going to eradicate all of us. No matter how many Tagaro they kill, they're not going to kill all of us. The only thing they're doing is they're just putting this like memory that we'll never forget, no matter what happens. I'm not going to be like my parents or my relatives before me. I'm going to tell my kids. I'm going to tell my other relatives what happened, the history in Tigray, what's been going on the last almost year or so. I will never not tell them. I will always remind them this is what happened, so it doesn't happen again. And that's been the problem from our past, our parents or our elderly. They never told us. So somehow they just kind of swept it to the side and thinking they can make up and just be this one great country when that country was never a country. It was all for a show.
Still is for a show. I mean, I don't want a few of your hooked up buddies over there that I usually when I come there I meet them to get pissed off on me. But
it doesn't matter. Like hey, everybody has that right to believe in whatever opinion they want to believe, politics wise.
Sure.
But a wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter.
So let me ask you this, Fork. I know I was going to go back to Nade, but let me ask you this on that topic. Why is it that you and I can go at it, whether tonight we're not even going that hard at each other, but I know you and I, we talked so many things before. Why is it that we can just have a serious discussion that sometimes is like very different view and have like strong disagreements, and at the end of the day, you and I don't try to kill each other. But with the Eritreans, one thing I notice is that if they disagree about each other, one is going to take the other one out before the other does. So why do we even have that much of a class that separates us from them?
Well, first you have to believe in. So no matter what you say to me, I know you have the right to your opinion. Okay? As long as I believe I know you have the right to your opinion, I don't have to take it personal. Okay? I believe in whatever I believe. I have my reasons for whatever I believe. And I know you have your reasons for whatever it is that you believe. At the end of the day, I'm not going to convince you to believe everything I believe in, and vice versa, right? But how can we see eye to eye on some of the things that we agree on? We're not going to agree, like I said, we're not going to be able to agree on all of it. There's no way. We're human beings at the end of the day. We grew up different, right? I grew up where I grew up. You grew up where you grew up. What makes us common? Being from Tigray. But we have a different life, the way we came up. We have a different ways of being raised. We've seen different things, right? And we're here now. But at the same time, if you believe in someone having the right to their opinion, you should be okay. You shouldn't be taking it personal. The minute you take people's opinion personal, is when you're going to have an issue.
Thank you, my brother Aforki. As always, man, hard conversation no matter what. We'll hash it out in person too. So I'll see you on the next protest. Until then, I'll talk to you outside this. Have a good night. Thank you for your time. Take care of yourself and take care of that beautiful dog that you have who chewed out my sandals. I'm not.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Have a good night. Yeah, I gotta leave. I have another meeting.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Easy,
we'll
man.
all
right,
see
guys.
you now. It's you. Go
Bye.
ahead.
So do you want me to continue on
I'm gonna give you a chance to do a quick closing, and then we're gonna come back into Green eventually.
Yeah, the quick closing is if somebody could not help himself, I'm not going to expect him to help me. But I mean, the slave cannot help me. Therefore, for the so-called Eritreans, they cannot get their freedom. Being a man, we Tigray, we're not going to expect them anything to for us. End of story. So, no begging, no bashing. Thank you.
Well, that was very clear and strong. So at the end of the day, Tigray needs to stand together. Tigray needs to understand who our number one enemy is. It's not the villagers, the civilians in Eritrea. It's not the Amhara in the villages of Amhara region. It's those starting from the diaspora who are, they got money in their pocket. They've got political persuasions. They got the ability to network with people and to have the access to technology. They're the cancer of the people in that region. And as long as we Tagaro continue to say, oh, we should not approach it that way, we should just go this direction, only if we just like are a little bit more patient and tolerate these cowards from Addis Ababa to Asmara, that somehow magically our survival will be higher than it is. No, it is not going to be. No, it's not. The survival of our people, the destiny of Tigray and Tigrayans, is with the strength and unity of Tagaru at all times.
That's it.
Thank you. So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to end this segment. We're going to come back in Tigrinya. So for those of you who've been following us, appreciate you. Love you as always. Cyber Power of Tigray Media is out to bring you the best discussions possible. The hard talk that we're doing, hey, it's our personal opinion. Does not reflect on Cyber Power of Tigray Media. It is our belief, our individual beliefs that we're sharing with you. We try to be as much professionals as we can as a media, obviously. But at the end of the day, we need your support by you sharing Cyber Power of Tigray, subscribing. Those who have not subscribed, if you share it with them, if you let them know what we do for Cyber Power of Tigray and for our people in Tigray, it would give us the opportunity to grow our media. And when Tigray is free and we have access, we're looking forward to having Cyber Power of Tigray Media live broadcasting from Mekelle. And who knows? But to do that, we need your support, the Tigrayan community. The support is that we would like you to share our subscribe, YouTube, Facebook. Obviously, eventually, we try to shift most of it to YouTube. Our goal and our dream is to shift most of it into YouTube. But we're going to continue to broadcast it on Facebook and YouTube. But it's a matter of time before Tigray is free. Until then, then we'll be right back. So I will see you guys in about 5 minutes or so. We'll be right back. In the meantime, again, we appreciate you. Love you as always. Thank you so much. Cyber Power of Tigray Media appreciates you as always. The hard talk. There we have it.